So I'm back in the kitchen doing pot au choux again because the first time I did it, I did not show you how to pipe cream puffs. So I'm doing a small batch. It's the exact same size batch that you're going to be making at home. And the difference today is I'm going to mix it by hand. So that should give you a better idea of how to do it at home if you do not have a mixer. If you have a mixer, have at it. Use a mixer with a flat paddle. If you don't, wooden spoon. Okay, let's hone in onto this pan. We've got our water just about to boil. I'm adding the salt. I'm adding the butter. And we have to wait until this butter completely melts and the water is at a full rolling boil. I gave it a little preheat so it happened a little quicker and you don't have to get bored looking in this pot as you watch butter melt and water boil. It's good for the soul to learn to be patient. Remember, patience. All right, we're almost there. I see a lot of what I would call simmering, waiting on that full boil. I have my flour scaled out right here. Full heat. When I add the flour, I'm adding the flour all at once, but I am going to turn the burner off as I add the initial flour, and then I'll turn it back on. Okay, we have a full rolling boil. Turning the heat off, adding the flour all at once, and stirring rather vigorously and quickly to coat all of the flour with the butter and water. Now the reason we don't get lumps with this is because we have the butter in there. Now I'm going to turn the heat back on to medium and I am going to cook this paste out for a minute or two. And a lot of it is actually just cook the starch and make sure that the dough has, see how it's come together as a ball, and I just kind of keep rolling it over, flattening it out. It makes a little bit of a film on the bottom of the pan. That's a good thing. And I just have this nice ball of dough. Notice the film I'm talking about? You can see that. That means we're cooking the starch out of it. And I would say we've done it. So I'm going to turn the burner off, give this a couple more stirs, and then I'm going to transfer it to another bowl. So I have a small metal bowl here, and much to your happiness, I'm sure, it does not have a ring on it that will make noise. So you can see it's smoking. I am going to stir it a bit to release some of the heat. If I start adding the eggs to this hot choux paste, they're liable to solidify. The proteins will solidify. So we don't want any scrambled eggs in our dough. So I'm just going to cool this down to about 140. I could temp it with a thermometer, or I can put my hand, whoops, on the bottom of the bowl. It's still really hot, so I know it's way over 140. So I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit. I'll come back when it's cool and we'll start adding the eggs. All right, so the pot au choux, the paste is ready to start adding eggs. I can easily grab the bowl with my hands. It's hot, but not so hot that it's going to cook the eggs. So I have I think it's 5 ounces of eggs. And I'm going to scramble them up. Listen, if we were doing this by machine, I'd plunk them in one at a time or a couple at a time. But since we're doing this by hand, look at the amount of egg we have to the amount of paste. That's a lot of egg to get mixed in there. So I'm going to plunk a little bit in. Woo! That was more than I wanted. I'm actually taking some out because I know I can't do that by hand. Okay. And Larry's going to scoot into this bowl, and this is how we're going to begin. We're going to kind of break up the choux and start to stir until we get it to combine. It's going to take a bit, so I'm going to come back. I want you to look at it. It breaks up into chunks first. That's not a bad thing. It's just what happens. It's part of the process. And I may switch to a stiff whisk, but if I am persistent, which I am, as you can see, and as you know from being in class with me, we got it. Okay? So what have we done? We've incorporated that egg. So we're ready for the next bit of egg. And rather than bore you to tears, I'm going to add another quarter of this egg and then mix it in, and when I'm all done, I will show you the consistency. All right, we'll be back. All right, so we have incorporated all of the egg, and I'm going to scrape it off of the spoon. We did the whole project with the spoon. I didn't have to go to a whisk. I've got a fairly nice texture. I'm happy with it. I'm going to scrape this bowl so you can see it. And if you stick the spatula in and pull, you can see it kind of pulls to a V. See that? How it kind of goes to a V? And that's a good consistency for this. All right, so let's get this in a pastry bag so that we can pipe it. I'm going to show you one more time in case you've forgotten. Here's the pastry bag. It's a large one. I'm going to open it up, make a big cup so the outside of the bag does not get gooey with choux paste. And I'm using a 1/2 inch round tip, which I'm going to drop in small side down. And I'm going to push, not super hard, but I'm going to give it a little push so that it goes all the way to the end. And then I'm going to take a pen or a pencil, in this case I'll use a marker, and make a little marker about 1/3 of an inch down from the tip. And then I'm going to push this back so that I can snip where that mark is. So I'm snipping, moving that out of the way, and then giving that a little push. And so we have the tip is now in the bag securely. So puff is there. I'm taking a water glass and pushing the bag into the glass, and I'm going to get the choux paste in that way. So I'm going to drop the paste in, trying to make a minimal amount of mess here. I think that's probably enough for me to push out of the bag, oops, at one time. I prefer to put a smaller amount in the bag at one time just because I feel like I have more control over the bag, and my hands don't want to squeeze that. All right, that was kind of wimpy. I could have put more, but it's all right. All right, so I've drawn some 2.5 inch circles. I actually traced the bottom of a chipotle pepper can. If you don't have something that's 2.5 inches in diameter and you have something that's 2 inches in diameter, that's fine. But you want them to be consistent. I mean, even if you made minis, profiterole size, that would be fine. You just have to make them all be the same size so that they will all cook properly. So to pipe the cream puff, we push the choux paste down in the bag, give the bag a twist, open up our dominant hand, put the bag in your dominant hand, in my case it's my right hand, and hold the bag straight up in the air, okay? Go to the center of the circle, just slightly above, and squeeze a nice even amount of pressure until you've filled the circle. Spin, and you're done. Come across, do the second one, squeeze till it fills the circle, stop, spin. And this is how you make a cream puff. If you wanted to make small ones, again, you should just draw a smaller circle and stop. Now, I'm going to fill the rest of the bag for those of you who did not get a chance to make eclairs, I mean, I know I've done this video once before, but you probably would like to see it one more time. I'll do a couple of eclair shapes with the last bit of shoe paste that we have. Got to be able to get it in the bag. You know, I think in your directions it said it would make 8 2-inch cream puffs. Again, I'm going to reiterate, it really doesn't matter what size as long as they're all the same size. Of course, you will have to adjust the cooking. You'll have to adjust the cooking time if they're considerably smaller. All right. So you've seen me do this at school before. Lay the bag down, take a bench scraper, try to get the air pockets out, and push the paste or icing, whatever it is, to the end of the bag. Lift, again, squeeze, and let's pipe a few eclairs. Eclairs will pipe from left to right. We start on one end. I don't have any lines, but I'll give you my best. I'll give you my best work. All right, and back. Again, squeeze, let it fan out. Oops, did have a little air pocket there. Stop and pull back. Squeeze, let it fan out. Stop squeezing and pull back. Last one. Squeeze, let it fan out. Stop squeezing and pull back. So it's about consistency and size and shape. These are a little smaller than we make at school. I'm going to pop these in an oven at 425 degrees for about 20 minutes. Then I'm going to lower the oven to 375. I'm going to keep my eye on them because I got a glass door on my oven, and these might be done before these guys, but I'll let you know how long it took, and I'll show you the finished product. Thank you.